Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of Convo the Shore, the unofficial but one and only Murakami video podcast. For the first episode, I have decided to talk to you from a very special location that means a lot to me personally, but that you as an avid reader can relate to as well. Young people used to call this place G-Town, but I prefer the original name. Welcome to the Public Library of Gütersloh. Gütersloh is a city located in the heart of Germany and has a population of over 100,000 citizens. The Public Library of Gütersloh has been opened back in 1984. With an inventory of more than 150,000 physical and digital media, over 200,000 visitors per year, and 8 school media libraries, it is one of the strongest public educational and cultural locations of the city. On more than 305,000 square meters, there are many event, conference and exhibition facilities and plenty of space to study, read and relax. As a place of ideas from and for people, the office of the library are aimed at all age groups. This way, the public library is and will remain a lively place for the citizens of Gütersloh in the middle of the city. Gütersloh is my birthplace, but I used to visit a library that was in my hometown where I've been raised, which is around 15 kilometers away from here. This little library was, of course, a little bit smaller than this beautiful place here. But once I grew older and was able to take the public bus or a car, I started to visit the public library of Gütersloh. The catalog is quite huge, and as you can see, there is a tremendous collection of books. And the first book I have borrowed here was The Godfather by Mario Puzo, back in 2005 when I was only 17 years old. But for now, let's just check out what they got on offer with the name Murakami. So let's see what they got on offer over here. Of course, Killing Commendatore, which is Die Ermordung des Commendatore in German. And this has been released in 2 volumes over here. And this was also my very first Murakami and the reason why you are visiting this channel right now. Then we got 1Q84 over here. And this is volume 3. So the first 2 volumes have been released in one single book together. And this seems to be currently on loan. So somebody in Gütersloh over here must enjoy this book right now. And then we got Sleep over here. So this is a short story from The Elephant Vanishes, and this edition features some nice illustrations. I don't know if it's translated into other languages as well. I didn't have a look yet, but it looks quite interesting. And then we got Colorless Tsukuru Tazaki and His Years of Pilgrimage over here, which is Die Pilgerjahre des farblosen Herrn Tazaki in German. And this was the second book that I have read of Murakami. So the first one was Killing Commendatore, then we had this beast over here, and now we are going to talk about Kafka on the Shore, the third book that I have read. So have a very warm welcome for my upcoming guest. All right, everyone, we have now reached the first episode of Convo on the Shore, the unofficial but one and only Murakami video podcast. And I'm very proud to present you my first guest today. This is Mert. Mert, welcome in our hood.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. For those who don't know who Mert is, you will maybe recognize him from his voice. So Mert, please give us a short introduction with a quote of the movie.
Your visions do not fool you.
Thank you very much. So Mert was the voice of Crow in the Kafka on the Shore documentary. Mert, you haven't read Murakami before.
No, I haven't.
You haven't been in touch with Murakami.
Not at all.
So how did you prepare on this role?
Pretty much all I got was your script. And I have to say, it pretty much fell under the radar.
Okay.
You sent me the script and the trailer without the voice lines. And what I did was simply watch the trailer.
Yeah.
And just tried to come up with some random inspired voice, and then I sent it to you.
Right. So you read the short script I have prepared for you with the description of the character, Kafka and Crow.
Yes, I glazed over it. Yeah.
Right. And what kind of impression did you have of these two characters when you read it?
To be honest, just like I said, I pretty much only glazed over it because I was mainly focused on the visuals when I looked at the video, and from the video I had more of an impression than from the script. The script, I just looked over it to know what it was all about, but when it came to developing the voice, I wanted to have a look at the video, and from the music and the atmosphere with the lighting and so on, and the background regarding the character descriptions, I thought that it was a quite dark, bleak story. So I thought a darker voice, a much serious voice would be more suitable.
Right. This is also something that most readers have as an impression of Crow, because Crow is described as a very dark character. So he's the dark side of Kafka, and the book itself has very dark tones.
Yes.
You haven't read it yet, we know that, but did you have any sort of impression of Murakami when you were preparing on the voice acting in this time, or did you just leave it with the script and the trailer, or did you do any research on it?
I thought it would have been cool if I didn't do any research on it, because I thought maybe it was just a bit more nicer. So I didn't do any research, but I was quite intrigued because of the of the art style, because it was all mysterious and unknown, but I haven't read anything.
Okay, so that's right, it's mysterious, many questions are kept open.
Yes.
So not everything will be answered. If you haven't read something like this before, you should be very careful if you dare to read it, because that's something that is hugely discussed with Murakami's books. I don't know if you're a friend of questions that have to be answered, or if you also like stories that keep something mysterious. So you're looking for answers regularly, or?
Yes,
yeah?
I do, yeah.
Okay, good. After watching the final film, where you can see the other characters, and you can see the plot lines that we have described in this film, is this something that led you to maybe be more interested in the book?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah?
Yes, of course. I thought it was quite indulging because of all the dark themes and stuff. I'm a big fan of dark stories and more psychological dramas and stuff. So I thought it would be quite interesting to read it. I'll definitely try to read it, or maybe watch more of your documentaries. I thought it was pretty cool, yes.
Okay. Could you give us an example of what you like to read? If you're saying you like to read dark and psychological stuff, is there any example?
Not particularly read, but I like films that play with your mind, like Memento or Shutter Island, these kind of films. So I think Murakami would be fitting with my type of taste.
Yeah, it's definitely going into that direction. That's right.
Yes,
that's quite a good impression you have, and that's very interesting, because I read the book, you didn't, and it's quite interesting to compare how this appeals on different persons.
I can imagine, yes.
And saying that you are a friend of clear messages, maybe riddles that are getting solved, it could be very thrilling for you, but also it might leave you uncomfortable, because it is a book that doesn't really answer all questions.
Oh, it doesn't? Okay.
No, it doesn't really. I don't know, do you like Star Wars?
Why not? I'm not a big fan, but I've watched it, yeah.
Okay, just an example, in Star Wars, in the old movies, we had the Force that has been described as a huge power that surrounds us and is inside us, but it was not really explained in a detailed way. And when the prequels came out a few years later, they have described the Force as something biological. They said there are midichlorians inside the blood of the people.
Yes, yeah.
And this is the value that they use to measure the Force inside someone. And this took a bit away of the magic. And this is something I use as an example if someone asks me, should I read it or should I not?
Okay.
That's a good example, I think.
So Murakami goes more into the direction of explaining things, well, going back to the midichlorian basis, or is it more that keeps things more mysterious, like in the old movies, where it's only the force?
He likes to keep it the old school way.
Okay, yeah.
So he also uses examples from Japanese mythology, but he uses in a very masterful way, because even if you're not familiar with Japanese mythology, the story is still very interesting. For example, you were the voice of Crow, and the Crow in Japanese mythology is a godlike creature that guides people. And even if you don't know this, you get the impression that Crow guides Kafka in a certain way.
Yes, actually I did. From the lines he was saying, I thought that he was some kind of voice that had a kind of power over him.
Yes.
Not a voice that was suppressed, but rather a figure that is responsible for him and pretty much directs how he has to think or how he deals with pressure situations.
Yes. Just like his adult version that gives him the strength and power to do something more. Yeah. And I guess when you have watched the documentary, you have seen the old man, Nakata.
I've seen the scene, yes.
You have seen the scene. So Nakata has lost half of his spirit, as Murakami has described in this strange incident as a kid. And since then, he is not acting like an adult. But somehow they are connected in this story. So every time Kafka passes out, Nakata is doing something very brutal or violent.
Okay.
Could you think that there is some connection between the two?
Strongly reminds me of Beyond Two Souls. Well, it would be a spoiler for the story, but in one ending, maybe it's in all of the endings, it is revealed that, I don't know, do you want to play it?
I played 2 hours of it and I lost patience, but you can describe it. I don't think that we have a lot of gamers on this channel. So
in Beyond Two Souls, it is, well, this presence, Aiden, that you can control. It's pretty much a free cam. So you're controlling Jody, and as Aiden, you are pretty much a free cam who's just wandering around and can move around things. So it looks like Jody's psychic. And in the end, it is revealed that Aiden is actually Jody's twin brother that died inside the womb when they were about to be born. I don't even know if her name was Jody or not. Okay. But it's played by Ellen Page. Okay. The main character, yeah. Okay. I believe her name was Jody, yes. Yeah, okay. So it's, to me it's quite comparable to this concept of souls being linked and souls transcending bodies and interchanging with bodies. So maybe like this. Yeah, that's a central subject of the book. So you have something like, it is called the limbo, and the limbo is somehow a neutral point between life and death. But it is described differently in the book. So depending on which person or which character is talking, they describe the limbo quite differently. So one describes it as a forest, and other describes it as a gloomy and silent place. But this is the place where the souls are able to leave the body and connect to other souls. Like in Avatar, The Last Airbender. Something like this, yes. Yeah, exactly. So Mert, you said that, or maybe let's put it another way. You have contacted me by mail once you have seen once you have seen that I'm looking for a voice actor. Yes. The first voice actor I've been looking for was for the old man Nakata, and you said, "Hey, this is something I can do." Yeah. Maybe you can tell a little bit about yourself, how you were interested in this, and what led you to contact me. So what you had written in the story was that you're searching for an old Japanese man. So I thought, a friend of mine was actually sharing a story to me and said, "You're going to write an email to this guy right now. Whatever you're doing, just do it now." Because I've actually was learning Japanese for 2 years during the Corona lockdown. Okay. I just had an interest. At first I was going to learn Swedish, but they didn't have it in the university as an option. How did you switch from Swedish to Japanese? I just wanted to learn a new language, and I thought Japanese would be quite interesting. Was pretty much a random choice. but then I actually had quite fun in it.
Mhm.
So I thought it would be perfect, and I can also deepen my voice quite well, I think.
Mhm.
And also go to the high pitch and to the deep pitch. So I thought Old Man would be quite good.
Yeah,
I'm also 25, so that's also fitting.
perfect.
Yeah.
So voice acting seems to be something you are interested in.
Yes.
How does it come?
That's a good question. I've always, when I was a kid, I always used to imitate people and sounds I hear, even if it was outside, some kind of police car or I don't know what. I always tried to imitate things. It was just an impulse, I don't know. And I always tried to imitate people. And I just did it out of myself.
Mhm.
I thought it was quite fun. And when I grew older, went to school and so on, I used to imitate people who had a remarkable voice or something remarkable they do, because I always observe people.
Right.
So when I get to know them better, and I have developed some kind of hobby to imitate people. So this is when I thought voice acting was pretty cool. And it was also the point when I realized that the cartoons I watch are actually there are actually voices behind of real people. I thought it was quite interesting, so that all interlinked into another, and I thought it was quite a nice thing to do.
You really did a great job. Everything.
Thanks.
Everyone said this is a really cool voice.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, really good job. I was sorry because I had to turn down your role as Nakata, because at the same time I got the feedback from Japan. So it's maybe interesting to know how I contacted the guy who voiced Nakata at the end. His name is Toru Tanabe, and he's a retired voice actor from Germany. So he's a singer and voice actor. Yeah,
it was
so
quite.
He lived in Germany for a while, so he was the German voice of Ken Watanabe in Inception, Last Samurai, Batman Begins. And he has a very old homepage running. And I said, let's contact him. Let's just try it. And he didn't reply for 2 or 3 weeks. And the time where you contact me, it was maybe like you were the trigger for it. I don't know. He got back to me and said we can do it. And that was really an exciting thing, because he sent me his voice parts with his phone. Because he doesn't have any studio or something like this. He lives in Tokyo. He's in local politics right now, over 60 years old.
Oh, really?
He said, I can send you the voice parts, but they won't be very professional. I said, let's just do it. I will send you the sentences.
Wow.
And you drop them by mail. Just recorded through his phone, and it was, at the end, very, very nice. But we did something similar with you.
Yes.
Maybe you remember. At first, we wanted to record it at my studio at home. But then time got a little bit
yeah, of course, a little bit with the schedules.
Yeah,
was a bit tough. But what we did, it was quite funny, because I told you I didn't have any good equipment. Can I just send it over to you?
Yeah.
And you said, as long as you have a good phone or something, it will just work out. And I told you I got my MacBook, and you said perfect.
Yeah.
So what I did is I opened the voiceless video on the one half of the screen, and on the other I just had the recording, the normal app of just the voice recorder app.
Yeah.
And I just did it, just pretty much improvised the voice. I just before I played the video, I thought what kind of voice would be fitting, and then I just tested around a bit, and then I just when I had played it, and it just spoke out with the voice that came to my mind. And funnily enough, I sent it over to you, that one line, and
By
you said it was, yeah, just do it like that.
It was just on spot. I said, let's go with it.
Yeah. So then I actually recorded it in one take, which is quite funny.
Very professional.
I don't know. I just thought, I'm just gonna do this and then send it over to him. Let's see what he thinks about it. And you said, okay, that's it. So it was only. I remember
it quite well. Yeah.
Yeah. The fun part is it was only like 3 minutes of work, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I actually wish that you would just say something like, "Oh, could you do a little bit more graviness, a little bit more, I don't know, maybe a bit brighter on the other end or a bit slower. But okay, I guess it was.
It was on spot. I
was
remember
okay.
it was on a Sunday evening, and it was just a few days before the release, and I was busy with the schedule and so on. And once I got the notification from WhatsApp, I was on the highway. It was dark, and I said I have to listen to it now. So I stopped at the next station.
Oh, really?
Listened to it, and I think I just wrote a short message. Yes, and
yeah, I remember. I was quite shocked. I was like, "Wow!"
Yeah,
Nice.
it was good. It was good. So
Yeah, I was quite flattered.
yeah,
Thanks.
thank you. So could you imagine to return for another role?
Definitely, yes.
Okay, because we got something on the schedule. I won't reveal it now, but it will be a very famous book of Murakami, and so everyone can be stoked to hear Mert's voice again.
I hope so. Yeah.
And also, I hope that I can welcome you as my guest again very soon. Next one will be our dear friend Samuel, who has voiced Kafka. And I think we're done for today. Thank you for taking your time to talk to me.
Thank you for having me.
And everyone else, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We have more podcasts coming soon, so they will be released monthly. And of course, in between, we will have other videos as well. So, sit back, relax, enjoy yourself, and never stop reading. See you soon.